You might be approached by project developers or conservation NGOs offering you money in exchange for giving them rights over your land or forest. What are the potential benefits and risks for you of agreeing to these schemes? The potential benefits are to receive money or in-kind benefits, such as building of wells or health or educational facilities. The risks include not being fully informed prior to consenting to anything. This includes, for example, not knowing precisely what is being sold and what are the consequences in terms of future restrictions of activities or access to land for your community. This also includes not knowing who will buy the credits and for what purpose or how will the revenues be split. This includes as well being offered to sign documents that are not in your own language. The proposed projects may also conflict with your cultural and spiritual values. The carbon and biodiversity credits will, for example, typically be sold to buyers who will use them to get the right to pollute and destroy elsewhere. As another example, the underlying vision of these projects is that it is acceptable to destroy nature faster than it can regenerate as long as one pays. The project may also mean that you lose control over your land, being no longer able to decide what is the future of your land for the duration of the agreement, which might last several generations. For example, you may no longer be allowed to go to your forest to pick up mushrooms or medicinal herbs. Past experience suggests that you may get an unfair deal, where, for example, you get a tiny fraction of the revenues being generated from the sale of credits, while external companies take most of the money for themselves. Past experience suggests as well that there is a risk that project developers will not respect the agreement, whether by banning you from accessing your grazing, hunting, or fishing grounds through the use of force, even though this is not part of the agreement, or by not paying you the compensation agreed. This risk is increased if the agreement does not include frequent monitoring by a trusted third party with the power to enforce the agreement. Likewise, it is also crucial to ensure before signing any agreement that it contains strong, independent grievance mechanisms to address disputes with the project developers. Entering into such agreements may also create tensions and internal divisions within your community. As an example, some members may feel uncomfortable with enabling pollution and destruction to take place elsewhere, while others prioritize the financial compensation. The risk of disputes is increased where there is no clear internal agreement process, when people do not have enough information, or when members of the community do not all have the same information. Now, here are some questions you may want to consider prior to agreeing to anything. Do we feel that we have enough information to make an informed decision? Do we understand sufficiently the functioning and rules of carbon and biodiversity markets? Has all the community been fully informed? What specific rights are being sold? For how long do we give our consent? And what does that entail in practice? Will we be banned from undertaking some of our current activities and traditional practices? And if so, which ones? Will we still be allowed to move freely on our land? Or will we be forbidden to access some places? Are these restrictions compatible with our way of life, livelihood, traditional practices, and customary laws? Do they get in the way of our right to self-determination? Who are the people proposing the deal? What is their goal? To whom will they sell the credits? And for what purpose? Is it compatible with our values? What will we gain from participating in the project? And what would we want to gain? Does participating in the project help us achieve our own goals for the future? Do we have other ways to obtain amenities such as wells or schools without selling our land? Have we asked our local government and explored all other possibilities? Will it help the climate, nature, future generations if we participate? How are the proceeds to be shared? Are we treated as equal partners? Who will verify that this is actually the case, and how can we trust them? Are park rangers funded by the carbon or biodiversity project? What happens if one party does not respect its commitments or changes its mind Or if there is a dispute, is there a credible grievance mechanism in place? Who will manage it and how? Under which laws? How can we trust that they will defend our interests fairly? Do we have a clear decision-making process? Who in the community will engage with these external actors and report to the community? How frequently? How should a final decision be made and by whom? Is the document to be signed in our language? Whatever you decide, please know that if you are confronted with this situation, you are not alone. Many indigenous communities have already experienced it, and if you wish to, you can get in touch with some of their members to discuss, get advice, and benefit from their experience. Also, if you feel that you need a more in-depth understanding of carbon and biodiversity markets, you can get free training by just asking the person who gave you these videos.